Let's make up some different portfolios and optimize them. One important portfolio might be 100% in the first stock and none in the other two, or 0 in the first stock, 100 in the second, or 0 in the first two and 100 in the third. Each of those would be interesting portfolios to know what the return and risk was. The return should just be the returns of the stock, of course. Another interesting portfolio would be the minimum risk. We call it the minimum variance. And we don't know what that is, but we can use Solver to find it. So let's copy that portfolio and use Solver to minimize this risk by changing these weights. So we'll go to Data and Solver and set our objective, which is our risk, to a minimum by changing the weights subject to the constraints that the sum of the weights is equal to 1, and solve. We already knew this from our previous work, but that's the portfolio that gives us the minimum risk in this set of stocks. So if the return can range anywhere from around 4% to around 15%, let's say we wanted to know the minimum risk at 6% return. Let's copy this portfolio and then change it using Solver to match that. So this time we want to, our objective function is R6, and so we'll change the weights in row 6 subject to the constraints that the sum of those weights is equal to 1. And let's add one more constraint, that we have a 6% return. So the return of this portfolio needs to be equal to 6%. When we solve that, we find out that 80-20 gives us about a 6% return portfolio. Let's do one more and do a minimum risk at 10% return. So again, we'll use Solver to look at that risk and minimize it by changing these cells subject to the constraint that this cell is equal to 1 and that the return of the portfolio is equal to 10%. And we can continue this for as many portfolios as we like. And then when we're ready, we can plot the risk and return. And add data labels if we choose. And I really like these data labels that show the weights divided by the slashes, but we could put any data label in there we like. In fact, for the Walmart or for the Kellogg stock, let's just put in a K. And for the ExxonMobil, let's put that ticker. And for the Walmart, let's put that ticker. And then add the labels to the chart. Format those data labels. And we can see where each stock or each portfolio falls on the chart. We'll go ahead and add some labels to that chart. And now we've optimized various portfolios and we can see them on a risk return plot.